Hey, so we are in our third week using my AutoCue, and this is my TTC number 4 video diary, and things have been pretty decent this week. I am going to share some videos or some photos of my current calendar view and my chart off of Autograph, and I'll hopefully be able to try and put those in right about now in the video so that those can be in there, and give you a second to view those. So hopefully you've seen them now, and I got them spliced in there alright. I figured it's easier to do that than to try and show you the graph or the actual monitor, because I know whenever people try and show it, it just is so hard to do because there's glare and everything on the screen, and it just makes it really hard to do. So today is February 21st. It has been a week since Valentine's Day. And my Overgraph started producing light blue squares on February 16th, which was cycle day 14. Now when I upload, have my Overgraph picture uploaded that I took, you'll be able to see how that is and stuff. And it's just been populating a blue square. But when you look at my Overgraph chart, it's showing that I had a substantial rise on cycle day 10, which would have been on February 12th, and then had the time dropped and whatever and stuff. And then I had a small vaginal spike on cycle day 15, and that was followed by a drop. And then on cycle day 17, I was away from my house and didn't get home until after midnight, so I didn't get a vaginal reading that night. But then last night, the one that I took was 247, which I hadn't had anything over the lower 100s yet. So I was very surprised to see it go up almost 150. But you'll see that with my Overgraph chart, when I have that put into. But I mean, everything's looking pretty okay. The BBT readings that are on there, there's not a lot to that because of the fact that I didn't get my new basal body temp thermometer to do those temps until like almost halfway through my cycle. But I went ahead and started them so that I could already have started getting it charted and stuff, so that I kind of see where stuff is now, so that next cycle I have a good feeling of what it's going to be like around my ovulation time, to have a good handle on that, at least hopefully. But so that is in there. Now the picture's not going to include my readings for cycle day 19 that I'm on right now, because I haven't done my vaginal reading yet. I don't do that until like 9ish. So I got a little bit of time before that. So I just wanted to get this up, get it loaded and all that stuff. But this week's not been a whole lot going on. I mean, I had the week and a half of blue, boxes on my OvaQ. And so I had asked for a little bit of advice with help interpreting on the Overgraph site. And I did it in the forum because I feel like I've been bothering Sarah. And so I wanted to see if there was other people besides her that might help. And she was the one that chimed in to offer her assistance and everything. And when I contacted her last, I hadn't started producing any blue boxes yet, but she said that by the way my chart looked, she figured that at that moment I was already in my fertile window, so I took her advice, and my husband and I started in our fertile time. But she had, mentioned in her response that, we had discussed that my next cycle, I should go ahead and put it in as shorter cycle days, because I have my overgraph set, or my overQ set up so that it's 35 cycle days. But 35 is kind of high for a cycle for me. So I think that next month, when I start my new cycle, I'm going to put it in about like 32 or 33 days. And she said that she thinks that doing that, it might start registering the actual ovulation peak and everything when it did this month, because she said that it was just too early for the overgraph to be looking for it. It wasn't ready to be looking for that reading yet with 35 cycle days. So she thinks that according to the way my graph looks, that my Q peak for my oral was on cycle day 12, and then she thinks that with that being my Q peak, I would have then seen my pink box on cycle day 15, which I had a slight vaginal rise on that day. And then I would have had a purple box on cycle day 18 because my vaginal had dropped on cycle day 16, followed by it being shot up on the 17th and 18th. Now, I didn't get a vaginal reading on the 17th, but with as much as it rose to 18th, we can kind of suspect that it would have been, on its way up to that had I gotten a reading in on the 17th. So that's where it is. So she says that most likely my ovulation probably occurred on cycle day 17 or 18. And then from now on out, we should continue to see elevated vaginal readings. So I'm hoping that if that's what I'm looking for, that means that as long as they stay elevated, that could be a good sign that, we did the damn thing this time, as my husband would put it. So we're hoping that, this month brings some good news and some, positive outlook and whatever. As far as a ticker site that I go on to, I'm supposed to be 1 DPO today using Sarah's 32-day method. So I've got 12 days left until testing. And I think things are pretty good. Obviously, there'd be no symptoms or anything like that. But I don't want to go after those kind of things. Like, I don't want to be, like, concentrating on, reading symptoms and whatever. So that I'm not thinking too much about that stuff. And then if I end up starting a new cycle, I'm not disappointed, because that's been my story for the last couple of years. I want so badly to be pregnant again, and every month when AF shows up, it's so down. It's such a downer. She shouldn't be in flow. She should be Debbie Downer. Because when you are going through this kind of journey and everything else, it's such a downer to see AF show up every month. So I guess hopefully this week is a good thing, and next week will be good news also, and we'll keep going from there. And hopefully I'm going to get into a schedule of doing it at this time now. But I think that's all I got for tonight. Like, there's really not much else going on. I told my husband I was probably going to tease about him and some of his terms, because he has a hard thing with the terms for all the TTC community. But his new thing is he thinks that the OVQ looks like it should be like an iPod or something. And he is constantly teasing about, doesn't it play music? He was like, I think it should sing when you have your reading and this and that and whatever else. And when things are good, it should, play some song or something like that. So he has decided to start calling it the Vagipod. because he thinks that's his funny way to do it. So I don't know if any of you guys have funny stories about things that your, significant other who's going through your TTC journey with you, if they have any special phrases or terms that they use that could be funny, go ahead and share them, because I think it's a hoot the way the guys are. Because I mean, up until you get into this kind of level, it's their job to just get their business over done with, and then everything else is left up to us, and they have no play in the rest of it. But when you get to a point like this where we're having to use intervention, obviously they start getting more involved, and things can just get really funny, because guys are just funny, because the whole cycle thing grosses half of them out. So they find their quirky little ways to deal with it, I guess. And I just want to hear other people's stories about their quirky ways. So if you want to leave a video response, comments, whatever, let's share some of that stuff, and maybe we can all have a few laughs and lighten the mood on something that is generally so tense and stressful, because it's not easy baby making. So look forward to seeing some comments and some posts, and I guess I'll be back next week. Have a good night.